Hello folks, I am back again, Sterling R. Jackson. We're going to talk today about the importance of nasality when it comes to singing.
Don't even look at him, don't open the dialogue, 'cause he'll take a part of you.
Alright, now I'm going to talk about my journey with nasality and singing and all that kind of stuff so that I can have some kind of a through thread here, make some connections with people and make some connections maybe with your experience or maybe some things that you haven't experienced yet. I'm always trying to plant seeds and get you on the same page. So first of all, nasality. What does that mean? That means to place the voice or to position the voice a little bit more in a pharyngeal or nasal kind of place to basically allow a little bit more of the resonance up into the nasal cavity. So that would mean to literally allow some of the resonance to move up behind the soft palate, up into the space up here. Make sense? So, if you do not spend time in this area, it will probably continue to seem very cartoony and very goofy. It was to me. And if you haven't already noticed, I'm somebody that can do a lot of voices and mimicry and things like that. So, it was very strange to try to add this to my voice and trust that it was a singy thing. Does that make sense? It seemed like a very stupid, why the hell am I doing this, wasting my time kind of thing. But the importance is what we're talking about today. So to learn how to sing higher, to learn how to sing more effortlessly, to learn how to sing with more freedom, it becomes very key to understand that the voice needs to access this upper register, this midway point between chest voice and head voice. We have resonance up here, woo! We have resonance down here, ah, and then we have this resonance in the middle space, which would be considered in this case pharyngeal. Ah! So I can kind of go through all this. And this isn't just about mixed voice, but it does very much get into mixed voice because that middle resonator is what's kind of tying everything together. So throughout my journey with this, I knew I needed to learn how to sing higher. I knew I wanted to, and I was very pissed off because I couldn't do it. And I kept hitting walls and walls and walls, and I would hear people do things like what you just heard me do, and it didn't make any sense. How the fuck are they doing that? It didn't make any sense. And then come to find out that the voice is not just operating from right here. And I've said this plenty of times. If you think about the voice like a thermometer in your body, we're going to be going from here up. Even if you have a bridge and you have a big break or whatever, imagine that that resonance is moving like this. And it is. This is not just a neat little imaginary thing. It needs to move. When we get in the way on a muscular level, or only think about the voice from right here, we are going to block that elevator and it's not going to go any higher. Or we're going to smash it into a wall, and then it's going to go into these places. So if I go, ah, like that, my voice is only operating or trying to operate from right here. The elevator hit literally about right here, and then it stopped. Head voice is something that works because we're allowing the voice, that tension-free kind of space, to go up here, to once again travel behind the soft palate up into this space up here, so it's allowed to go up there. If you do not let it go up there, you're just going to keep getting in the way. Does some of this make sense? Now, so thinking about that resonant elevator, a lot of my students, most people do not get mixed voice down. They do not understand it. And once again, it's because you're thinking about operating everything from down here. The most important thing to take away from this lesson or this video that I'm going to try to instill into your mind is that when you're starting to feel tension building in the throat, and we're going to talk about it in terms of, ascending and moving up a scale or singing a higher song, when you start to feel tension building in the throat, your body is trying to tell you that something needs to shift, something needs to change. I'm going to say that again, closer to the microphone. When you feel tension building in the throat, right out around here, jaw tension, whatever, when that starts to increase, there's nowhere else you can go. There is no trick or flip or special thing that you can do that's going to magically change that. Something needs to shift, something needs to change, and you need to figure out what that is. Surprisingly, it's more cartoony and weird than you would imagine it to be, but either way, your body is trying to tell you that it's not going to work, man. No mas. So you can't go any higher. You can't reach any more. There's no, like I said, there's no weird thing you can do. So get to know that feeling because it's an important feeling. It's an important distinction. You're going to run into it the rest of your singing career or whatever you're trying to do, and you have to learn how to correct. Oh, I need to change right now. What it's telling you to do is that just like if you're driving a car, a stick shift, and you need to push in the clutch, it's telling you need to push in the clutch and shift to a different gear. You need to shift, and you need to learn how to shift. Otherwise, it's first gear, man. It's just, and some people make great careers out of that. And then they use the little, stuff up on top for whatever. Coldplay is a perfect example. Running in first gear, and he learned how to sing a little bit higher and different stuff, but for the most part, he's using falsetto for all the other stuff. Does it make sense? But either way, like I said, you can only take first gear so far and so fast before it's just going to burn the hell out. And we need to learn how to shift. Shifting has a lot to do with learning about nasality. If we think about nasality logically really quick, we have taken the elevator from here and we've started to place it up here. So we've taken that and we've allowed it here. So first of all, if you start to implement nasality into your voice, you're going to find that you have some relief from tension down here already just because of the placement up here. Does that make sense? So let's take an exercise here really quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And we'll try to implement that mix sound into it so you can kind of do that, because I know a lot of people are here because they want to know how to mix and they want to learn how to don't stop believing. And, you know what I'm saying? So we'll take this right here. It's real close to my baritone bridge, which is G4. It has not changed in I don't know how many years. It's the same bridge as always. So anyway, I'm going to show you the wrong way. I'm going to show you the right way. But first, let's talk about the right way. So if I position my voice up in my nose and I keep my head down a little bit, why do we keep the head down? We keep the head down because we're trying to loosen this musculature and we're trying to be hyper aware of what's happening. Anytime we go like this, we're already starting to elongate these muscles. We're starting to put tension into the voice, etc., etc. Does that mean that you should sing like this all the time? No. Don't be stupid. It means that when you're practicing some of these things, we're just being very perceptive and we're trying to loosen things up. If I go like this, I can really pay attention to the difference between here and here. So, my students, keep your head down. Not too far, not too far down. Don't be stupid. All right, ready? So if we take that and we position up here, it should sound like an EH sound, or we can push it farther back in terms of our placement, like UNG, like French en. So, and what you're hearing right now is that I'm positioned way back. There's no tension or anything, but I'm positioned way back, and that resonance is being allowed to move behind the soft palate, just like I talked about. As I continue to go, it's going to become more and more head voice. It's going to keep moving up farther and farther because the elevator is already right here. You hear that? Now for the wrong way. I can still be nasally and still stick down here. Instantly hit the wall. So one has the placement dropping because everything builds in terms of pressure. The elevator comes up and everything builds like this and flattens out, and then we hit the wall. So in some ways, what you need to do here is you need to practice backing off pressure and finding a softer kind of place. That does not mean flipping into falsetto, but it means keeping chord closure and trying to find a place where you can keep rising, and you're going to get weaker, not stronger. That's the intuitive thing, and the intuitive place here is telling you that things should get heavier. They don't. They change. They might get heavier at some point in your career, and when you figure that out or whatever, and you can alter the levels of heaviness, but they're backing off. So your instinct that things are going to get more badass, they don't. They back off. So at first when you learn these things, the voice is going to get like this. It's going to get quieter through your bridge and then open back up again like a beautiful flower. So I've said so many things in this lesson. Hopefully you're still with me. But let's try this together again. UNG, or you can try EH. But we're really rattling the nose. And you're going to feel a duck behind the soft palate. Real close to the microphone. Where am I? Somebody called me on the telephone, and then I lost connection with my video. I'm back. So we were doing wrong and we were doing right. And you hear that? Wrong. That growing tension is trying to tell me that something needs to happen. Everything flattens out. Sounds like a bunch of poop. God, I'm so sweaty and hot all the time in my life, and it sucks. So, I hope some of this helped. I'm going to go over to Patreon and continue this lesson. Remember that nasality is super important, especially if you want to learn how to sing higher, if you want to learn more about your placement. It just so happens that with me, in my journey with singing, I end up sounding probably more like Cornell, which is not the thing I want, but I sound more like that because my voice naturally wants to sit in more of a pharyngeal space. It puts less pressure on my vocal cords and my voice when I have a little bit more nasality, because I'm literally letting that resonance be a little bit more open in the nose and stuff. I can sing in all kinds of different ways, as you probably have heard, but when I do certain things, especially when they're lower in tonality, they tend to wear my voice out. So my voice wants to sit up here. If I sing that song again, sunshine go away today, don't feel much like dancing. That feels really nice to me. I can do that all day long. So, all right, Patreon, here I come. Thank you.